Todd, thank you for taking a few minutes and just talking about working together the past few months that we've gotten to work together and have a couple different ways of working together, some through group workshops and then some through one-on-one stakeholder center coaching. And I would love just to ask a few questions and hear from you, kind of your perspective. And would you do it again? Was it worth it? So the first question I have for you is, can you kind of describe a little bit the before of what you were looking to accomplish and kind of where you were? I know you've been with the company for a long time and had great career growth, but do you mind just kind of explaining to somebody who might be listening who is thinking about, do I want to reach out to Katie and give it a shot? So where were you a little bit before we started working together?
So I had progressed in my career for 15 or 16 years. And when we started this, wasn't exactly sure what to expect, although it ended up being a whole lot more than I would have expected. But I think I was in a place that I was looking back needed to elevate myself to where I was I believed I was at the same level of where others were seeing me, and coming to that realization and then just kind of owning that where I am at this point in my life and where I can progress to. So I think being at the doorstep of stepping in and just taking on my role as a project executive with Thompson Turner.
That's awesome. So as we started working together, do you mind kind of talking about what that goal was that we worked on? And you had one or two that you were working on. Do you mind sharing those?
Yeah, so we narrowed it down from, I think, a paragraph to just improving executive presence and building talent. And so we narrowed it down based on some feedback from my manager and then peers and then those direct reports to narrow it down to improving executive presence and building talent.
So within 90 days, we did a mini survey and you were able to receive feedback anonymously from your peers and, directly from your manager in a report. And I have to say, congratulations, within 90 days, you received positive recognition of improving with both of those. Is that something that you kind of expected going into this, or was that a surprise? Or can you talk about that first 90 days and getting some of the feedback?
Yeah, well, maybe your follow-up question will be the second 90 days, but the first 90 days, I mean, we did have a good bit of success, and admittedly, I felt like it chipped away at some of the easier items first. I think you did a good job of helping and practicing having some uncomfortable conversations and giving some honest feedback that helped have some of that success in the first 90 days that I think definitely created some momentum to carry through into the second half, when maybe some of those were a little more difficult and challenging to get through and to continue to have that success.
So you saw a bigger shift, I guess, in that second 90 days?
I think the second 90 days took a deeper dive and definitely some more accountability, probably from your end of, coaching me up to do some things that were outside of my comfort zone, but also understanding, the perspective from others, not only maybe a client or, manager and those direct reports. So I think being able to get some of that perspective and role play some of the conversations definitely helped as we moved into that second half, that some of those goals required a little more work and weren't quite as simple as the easy changes that we made early on.
But you were able to get some momentum in the beginning and to kind of take the easy stuff out first, and then have the courage to kind of dig into it a little bit further the next 90 days. And I have to say, once again, your mini survey came back and very favorable. Again, got recognition from all of your stakeholders, your manager, everybody recognized you for the improvement and the commitment that you made. So it's pretty, I thought it was impressive for you to be able to keep your head down and keep making those changes. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Have you tried anything in the past when it came to kind of working on leadership development? I didn't know if you tried anything in the past, maybe something that has worked or hasn't, and does that make this any different compared to what you've tried in the past?
I think the big difference is, and you pointed this out in the beginning, was just the time frame. So anything in the past has either been a couple days here and there, either go somewhere or somebody come in, but there wasn't really any follow-up, maybe a week or two after, but that was it. So I definitely think the one-on-one interaction was different, because you definitely were able to focus on what I'd said previously and what we were going to work on. And you obviously keep some very detailed notes, so that's impressive. But I think the follow-up and making it a routine throughout the 6 months was probably the biggest difference, and able to really track progress and then evaluate if something didn't quite go according to how we thought it was, or judging the reaction that I received, how I handled it, and then how we could do things differently. So during that 6 months, I mean, there were definitely times that I, maybe slipped back into some old habits that we were able to look at and talk about. So I think just the time frame was the biggest thing that maybe was different, and just also condensing it down to those two word goals was key, and just made it easy to focus on that versus getting too much in there and getting it watered down. So
kind of simplifying the communication so others could connect and just continue to hear what it is that you're working on, so they can continue to see what it is that you're trying to accomplish.
Right, exactly.
Perfect. Did anything surprise you from any of this work? Anything that just kind of sticks out?
I think in speaking with especially some of the direct reports, not, I think sometimes I take for granted that maybe we think we know how someone else is going to react or think, or, take some advice or criticism. So I think having the uncomfortable conversations, and it's appreciated by most, and the feedback is ultimately, appreciated. And if it's some constructive criticism, that is valued and not seen as what I perceive as maybe negative or something like that. So I think it's valued. So I think delivering that and just practicing having that and setting aside a short period of time to do it, and not dwelling on it, or spending too much time on it, definitely holds value that I didn't think it would. I thought some people would be more resistant to it. So and then the biggest thing is just when you asking for feedback, so I guess the feed forward, and to get someone else's take on it, and to just simply say thank you and be quiet, I think was the biggest thing that I've told others about and tried to do, is just kind of reflect on it before immediately reacting. So
not always easy just to say thank you.
That's right.
I appreciate that. Do you think what we worked on are these things that you can continue to do, or is this kind of like a one and done type thing, or do you see this being something that can be used down the road and maybe taught to others?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, like I just, explained about the asking someone else's opinion, what do you think? And then, just saying thank you and moving on and reflecting. And then if we need to come back and revisit it, doing that. But I definitely think being aware of, that presence and how, I personally am perceived by others when I walk into a room, and how my manager wants my presence to be perceived as well. So I think keeping that in mind and using that for the rest of my career, absolutely.
That's awesome. And then I guess just working with me, how was it? And was there anything I can improve on, or is there any suggestions that you have for me for the next, talented person I get to work with?
I would say continue to, I think your punctuality was impeccable. So I would definitely encourage you. I think that just set the tone and set the pace that, we were gonna get down to business and respect each other's time, which I think carries forward to so many other things. We talked about our career at work, but also, I feel like there was some personal family life type examples. I think you could relate to a lot of the things that maybe I was seeing, or how, you definitely were able to probably read either my body language or tone or whatever, and dive into it. So that was impressive. I don't think you're scared to ask questions, or you don't kind of shy away to dive deeper. But I think that helped to get the end result when I finally, maybe I'm a little guarded at times. So when I would open up, you're able to relate and typically have some kind of examples of either someone else that was in a similar situation or yourself. So I think it was fantastic.
Thank you. So if somebody's on the fence and they're like, I don't know if I should give it a shot or not, what's your recommendation? Work with me, try the coaching. What would be your words to that person who could be listening or watching right now?
I would encourage them to do it and go all in. I mean, at the end of the day, what's the worst that could happen? I kind of feel like I was able to set the course on my goals and things like that. So I mean, it definitely was tailored to, my goals and what I want to do. So I think the opportunities are almost endless, and what do you have to lose? And I jump in and take full advantage of it. Be my recommendation.
Thank you, Todd. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.